It is a bright winter's day. The sun is shining. There's hardly any wind, and so the cold of 15 degrees doesn't dig in and just hurt like it can here out on the edge of the prairie in the beginning of the rolling hills. I am down in a dip because I'm on top of a lake, a frozen lake named Lake Oscar. We have a nice layer of snow on the lake, and we are cross-country skiing. I'm skiing with my cousins and my parents and my aunt and uncle. And we are just excited to be outdoors, enjoying some winter, one of these short winter days to the best of our ability. And we are skiing out toward the island. The dads are out front breaking trail with their strong legs and their gaiters and their bigger boots and wider skis. And then the rest of us are in line after them, sometimes scooting out and around each other, racing a little bit for fun. I have my bright, colorful skis on with black and orange and purple and blue. And I have my black with similar colored ski poles in my hands, keeping me from tipping as I scoot along. And I take a glide with my left leg forward and then kick back with that leg as my right one swoops past on its ski, and then kick, and my heels raise off the skis every time I give a good kick. And then since I'm about fifth back in the line of skiers, the track is getting nice and smoothed out, so I can get a little glide going here. On the way back, our track will be even better because there's been 10 people over it by that point, and then we can really glide. Here comes the island. There are some trees on it, and they're not too close together though, not like the woods that we left on the shore. We ski up to the bank of the island, and our dads have already found the best place to kind of scoot up sideways, taking little sideways steps like a little kid going upstairs. One leg up, next leg joins where the first one was. Left leg up, right leg joins it. And we're going up sideways to not just slip back with our skis. Up on the island, there's some little places to explore, and we just get a little higher and we look up at the treetops, and there's squirrels' nests up there. Those are really big and bushy, and there's a squirrel coming chattering down the tree and out onto a limb and kind of scolding us very vigorously. What are you doing on my island? And then I look back at the shore that we came from, and I see there's the eagle that we saw when we drove up to the 80 acres that Grandpa bought years ago here of farmland and woods on the lake. That's when we first saw the eagle come out of the woods, and now here it goes again. So huge, so graceful, so strong. And I'm always reminded of the verse in Isaiah that says, "Those who wait on the Lord will renew their strength. They will mount up with wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint." I take a big, deep breath and I stretch my arms out to the sides with my ski poles in them. It just feels so good to be alive and to be outdoors, and I'm standing in the sunshine, and so the sun is just warming me up through my coat. I have my dark forest green jacket on. Underneath I have a wool sweater from REI, and I have I have a turtleneck underneath that, so I'm just so comfortable. In fact, I'm getting warm enough that I open up my scarf a bit and I take off my mittens and stick them in my pockets. My wool mittens that Mom knit from our own wool that we raised from our own sheep, and she spun it, and we did all the steps in between. After the shearer cut off the wool, we did all the steps it took to get our own sheep's wool to mittens. But right now, with the sun shining, I am warm enough not to wear them. And suddenly I get inspired to try and see how the snow will pack. I reach down and grab some snow. It's pretty cold, so it's not going to pack the best, but in the sunshine here and with the warmth of my hands, I can pack a snowball. So I get this kind of tricky glint in my eyes and grin on my face as I pack a snowball. And I look for my cousin, who's just about a year younger than me, and right as he turns in my way, I fling the snowball and just barely hit him on the shoulder. There we go. A snowball fight has begun. Thankfully, it can't be too hard or too rough because the snow isn't packing great today. It's too cold for that at 15 degrees. But we get some snow flying, we get some in our faces, it feels so cold, and ooh, it's melting down my neck, and so I wipe it out and pull my scarf tighter again, and my hands are definitely getting cold enough I put my mittens back on. By now, my dad has skied all the way around the island down on the lake, and so I think, oh, that sounds fun. I head back down to that track as our snowball fight has petered out, and we all just start skiing, circumnavigating the island. There's some steeper parts of the bank where the water has kind of carved out underneath, and there's tree roots holding it together, overhanging where the water would be when it's not frozen. So it's just interesting to see the different sides of the island and the different views of the shore across around the lake, where there's fields coming right down to the water on some sides, and there's trees on some other sides, like the 80 acres. Grandpa's 80 has trees. Eventually we head back to the 80, we find the path that we all skied over in the first place, and oh, this is such a good trail now that we are just flying. With every kick of the skis, we just glide with the other leg and make such good time. Arms pumping with the action to keep our balance with our ski poles, and giving a jerk every once in a while when the ski pole gets stuck down in the snow and almost pulls us over. Well, we are getting hungry, so it is time to get back up to the fire and see if it's still burning, to the campfire. So it's easier to just take off the skis at this point. So I reach down with the tip of my, the metal tip of my ski pole and set it in the little groove on the binders on my skis. I push down and the toe of my ski pops loose. And I do that with the other ski. And then I step off and reach down and grab my skis. And when I lift them up, I see there's snow packed in around underneath where my ski boot kept pressing, and there's snow packed in a few places on the bottom of the ski. Not as much as on a warm, wet snow day, but I want to get this cleaned out. So I work at it with my mittens, and I take the sharp end of my ski pole and dig some out from around the binding. Coming out of the belt of woods around the lake, we come up into the clearing where Grandpa has cleared over years his firewood for his fireplace at home. And on the far side, tucked into the closer to where he's currently gathering wood throughout the year, we have a fire. It's still burning. There's some really good coals in there, and so as we dump our skis and poles into a pile over by the sleds and pick up our snow boots that we had taken off to change earlier, we head to the fire to warm up. The smaller wood that we had brought from home for starting the fire is all burnt up, but some logs that were nicely dried here in Grandpa's stack are just really going to it. They are catching well. They're burning slowly but strongly. So we sit down on some logs and peel off our snow-crusted ski boots. I remember that the skis I used to use and learned on would get so frozen that the laces wouldn't want to open. But now I can just peel that flat back, hear the as the Velcro opens up, and pull open the laces and yank the boot off and slip into my sorrel winter boots. Ooh, these are cold at first, but they will warm up quickly from our feet. So both boots changed out. I lace up my sorrels, bang the snow off of my ski boots and set them aside and just lean in towards the fire. I feel the heat on my face, and I even start to feel it pushing through my coat and sweater onto my arms and shoulders and through my snow pants onto my knees. And they feel a little damp because I've been down in the snow some, but that's just the fun of it. Pretty soon our moms have our thermoses of hot chocolate out and some mugs, and we are warming up with hot chocolate inside and fire outside. After the hot chocolate, we are actually working our way towards an early supper because the sun is going to set around 5 o'clock, and we want to be all ready to head out and not get stuck in the field road on our way out again. So out come the hot dogs, and we get to carve our own roasting sticks out here. No use hauling them in when we're in the woods. So we go out, I pull out my trusty pocket knife, a nice sharp one with a partially serrated edge. That's just perfect for both sawing off the branches I need and for carving the shape of the point. As I sit around the fire and sharpen the points on my forked branch, I feel the strength in my hand as my muscles tighten, and then I bite into the bark and watch it peel off down to a creamy white inside of this thin branch. Brushing the shavings off of the rocks around the fire, I brush them into the fire and watch them flame up. Then it's time to go over to the sled that's full of the food, and it's been spread out. We grab our hot dogs and stick them on the sticks and head back over to the fire. It's so special. We're sitting here roasting our hot dogs all together, half a dozen people around the fire at once, cousins jabbering across from side to side, and hearing our moms, who are sisters, talk and reminisce about coming to the 80 acres when they were young. And our dads reminisce about skiing in the mountains, downhill skiing when they were in college. And pretty soon our hot dogs are just starting to sizzle, and then when I feel a kind of a vibration all the way up through the stick, I know that one of mine has split. And I flip it over and look, yep, that's the one split, and it's dripping, and underneath the drips I hear this psst, sizzle as the fat hits the coals of the fire, and it just flares up, and I keep roasting till I hear and feel my other hot dog split, and then I am ready. I am hungry after that good exercise of skiing. Back over at the sled buffet, I find a hot dog bun, a good whole wheat one, and I pull my hot dog into that, and then I just take the other hot dog on my plate. I'll see if I want a bun for that one later or not. Then I grab the bottle of ketchup and squeeze it into the hot dog bun and toss in a few onion pieces from a jar that we brought from home. Just a little mustard too. There we go. Then there is a can of baked beans, not hot like we're used to at home, but they're good cold too. Bush's baked beans. So I spoon some of that onto my paper plate and dig into the bag of chips, my favorite sour cream and onion. So I have my hot dogs, I have beans, I have chips, and there are apple slices in a Ziploc bag sitting handy. So I grab a handful of apple slices and my plate is full. I see the bars that we brought for dessert, and ooh, those look good, but I'm going to enjoy this first. So I go over and sit on a log near the fire and just start my supper. I see the sun is getting lower. There's kind of a golden orangey tinge to it through the trees to the west. And I hear some birds twittering in the trees and hopping around nearby. Just a chickadee, and I look up and I can see a nuthatch too, hopping around the side of a tree trunk, head down. It's just amazing. And then it goes up on a limb and it hops all the way around the top and then upside down around the bottom of the tree limb. They are such an amazing part of creation to watch. They're so little and so sleek and so acrobatic. I'm just so thankful to be out here with my family and my relatives. And I take a deep breath and then another bite of my delicious meal out in the woods in the winter.